Catch you later. Congratulations, Erica Slezak.
On March 17, Erica Slezak celebrated her 40th anniversary as Victoria Lord Davidson on One Life to Live.
Here's to you, Erica.
Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the true self you got?
I do.
You may be seated.
Boy, am I glad I'm not a judge having to make this decision.
Before we get started, Mrs. Sanders, I'd just like a word with the witness.
Of course, Your Honor.
Mrs. Buchanan,
Yes, sir.
I realize the emotional stakes in this hearing are very high. But please, try to remain calm and state your case as straightforward as possible.
If you are referring to my earlier emotional outburst, I apologize for that, Your Honor. And I can assure you that I am in control of myself.
Fine.
Mrs. Buchanan, why don't we go back to that earlier outburst? Did you have a conversation with Maria Roberts saying that you preferred your freedom from Clint over custody of your own children?
No. No. I unequivocally did not have that conversation. My children are more precious to me than my life. I would die for my children. That's why I'm here, to do everything in my power to keep them with me.
Wow, can we do that again tomorrow, Rick?
We sure can, as long as the snow doesn't melt.
Come on. I can't believe it. Marilyn Dennison from El Paso, Texas, out cross-country skiing.
Wait till I get you up on a mountain and teach you the real thing. But you're gonna have to be careful. You just might get addicted to it.
Kevin, you think you... Kev, what are you doing? Nothing. May I see? Okay. I found this in the trash.
Come on, you guys. I want to talk to you guys. Come on. Come over here and sit down. You sit there, and you sit there. Come here, get a little closer. You see, unlike your mom and dad, my parents fought for as long as I can remember. You know, I remember up in my room at night hearing them argue and fight, and they always thought they were hiding it from me.
Yeah.
Yeah, and when you ran away, I knew why you ran away. I felt for you. But running away isn't the answer. Well, anyway, my parents split up when I was 13, and they fought over me, too.
Who won?
My mom. But you know, it wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. For one thing, they stopped arguing. And you know, when I was with my mom, everything was quiet and peaceful, and it was nice. And I was with my dad, it was the same way. So what you guys are going through is tough. I know it's tough, but you're gonna live through it.
Why doesn't anyone ask us what we want? Well, Kevin, because that's for grown-ups to decide. That's not fair.
You're right, it's not. No one asked me what I felt either. And I've been angry about it ever since.
Let's go back in time to the night that you asked Tom Dennison to come to the family cabin. Why did you ask him to meet you there?
I wish I knew. Unfortunately, I don't remember that. You see, that was the night, shortly after I arrived at the cabin, actually, when I suffered the memory loss. But I can tell you what I have been told. Apparently, I called Tom Dennison and asked him to meet me at the cabin because I had very important information regarding the person who had helped Allison Perkins to return my daughter, Jessica.
The police have never figured out who that person was, have they?
No, they have not. Apparently I had, however. You see, again, this is what I have been told, Your Honor. Apparently, Allison Perkins confessed to me that she had kidnapped my daughter, and she was about to tell me who the person was who had helped her to return Jessica when she was, unfortunately, hit by a car. I went to Clint and to the police, and I told them exactly what Allison had told me. But they refused to believe me.
But Tom Dennison did.
Yes, Tom did. And so, since I was unable to go to my husband for help, I turned to Tom, who had been a very caring and very supportive friend.
And you and he have never been lovers?
Absolutely not.
Mrs. Saunders, I've already ruled that issue of romance has no relevancy to this hearing.
Yes, Your Honor, but please, I have been defamed by these allegations. I am not an adulteress, and I'd like that on the record.
So noted. May we continue, please?
When Tom Dennison and you were at the cabin, you were talking when Clint came in. Is that true?
Yes, it is. Tom, I guess, had just arrived, and then Clint burst through the door, out of his mind with jealousy, I suppose, since he was assuming the worst, and then he savagely attacked Tom.
And this violence provoked your loss of memory?
Yes.
Objection, Your Honor. This is conjecture unless Mrs. Sanders has evidence.
Sustained.
You saw a psychiatrist about your amnesia, did you not?
Yes, I did.
And in his opinion, why did this amnesia come forth at this particular time?
Well, he felt that there was entirely too much stress in my life at that time, and it's perfectly understandable. My daughter had been kidnapped. I had been accused by my husband and the police of turning into Nikki Smith, of kidnapping my own child and then abandoning her someplace, and of out and out lying about it. And the doctor felt that on top of that, witnessing this horrible fight, witnessing my husband beating up the only friend I had, it was just too much for me to take.
How many years were wiped out?
8 years. I thought that Tom was, in fact, his twin brother, Joe Riley, who was my late husband, and who had, in fact, died 7 years earlier. So the doctor felt that I had simply gone back to a happier time in my life.
Mrs. Buchanan, in your opinion, is Clint Buchanan a violent man?
No. I'm going to have to object to this line of questioning.
You're going to be overruled. Temperament is a very important issue in deciding the fate of children.
My first impression of Clint Buchanan after my memory loss was that of a man who was violently out of control and beating another man senseless, and I was terrified of him. I am still afraid of him. When we argue, he becomes very angry and very loud. Although I must say to you that during the past few months, he's never been physically abusive with me.
Mrs. Buchanan, have you ever witnessed these flares of tempers around the children? I mean, anything that you would consider unreasonable?
No, not at all. He's been nothing but gentle with the children. In fact, it was only after seeing him with the children that I started to realize that there's obviously a good deal more to the man than I had thought at first.
Thank you. Mrs. Sanders.
The Banner newspaper has been in your family for years, has it not?
Yes, it has. My father founded it.
And you were the publisher of this newspaper?
Yes, until recently I was.
Why are you no longer at the helm?
Well, I don't see what this has to do with the custody of 3 children.
It has to do, Your Honor, with Mr. Buchanan's temperament as witnessed by his wife.
Overruled, Mr. Callison.
I'll repeat the question. Why are you no longer the publisher of the newspaper?
Because Clint and his father, Asa Buchanan, put together their shares and took control of the paper away from me. They did this in order to be able to fire Tom Dennison, who was the editor-in-chief. And then, after taking my paper away from me and firing my friend, they told me that I could stay on if I wanted to. I did not want to. First he takes away my newspaper, now he's trying to take my children.
There are employees of mine that have IDs. Now, if you want to go down to my photographer and get a pass...
I'm tired of putting up with your nonsense, Asa.
That means you'll never see the 5th floor.
I'm beginning to see what you do. You drag people down to your level, don't you? Now I understand how you corrupted Pam.
Pamela need to be corrupted to live in this real world. Matter of fact, she's enjoying life a lot more these days.
I know what you're trying to do. You want me to fight my way on that elevator, don't you? Then I'll be barred from the Vernon Inn, or maybe you'll have me arrested for assault.
What? I am trying to live here and work here peaceably, with as much security as I can get, that's all.
Let's see how much fun you have when Pam moves out of here tonight.
So can we go to court and see the judge? Kevin, I don't think so.
Why not? Why don't you guys excuse us just for a minute? I want to talk to Mary Lynn, okay?
Okay.
Come on, come on, come on.
Rick, what are you doing?
I'm standing up for their rights. Kids don't have unions or spokesmen.
But Vicky and Clint are against the boys being brought into court. They feel it would be awful if they were asked to choose one over the other.
You don't think those kids are thinking the same thing? How awful it'd be to choose over one another? And I'm sure the judge wouldn't even ask them that if the parents didn't okay it. But I do know one thing. If those kids aren't allowed to go in there and talk and have their say, they will always wonder if there was some way they could stop this whole mess.
Well, maybe just showing up in court would shake Vicky and Clint.
And maybe they just try to work a little harder on their marriage.
All right, I'll go along with this. Even though I'll be in big trouble with my dad and the Buchanans.
Maybe you're saving a marriage, Mary Lynn, and nobody's gonna get mad at you for that.
I'm not really sure about this.
Kevin, Joey! Kevin, Joey, I want you guys to go get your coats. We're gonna go down to that courthouse and bash some barricades.
Yes, I have seen a doctor once, and I have made arrangements to see one on a regular basis.
And you're going to try very hard to regain your memory.
Oh, yes, I am indeed.
Much has been made in this courtroom about Joey's asthma attack and the fact that you were not prepared for it.
That was a terrifying moment for me. And one that I swear to you will never happen again, because I have since then familiarized myself with the children's medical records and with everything about the children. And of course, yes, I would have called a doctor if Clint hadn't been there.
In your husband's testimony, he said that you wouldn't be able to enjoy the children's lives because you have no memory of the milestones or the little moments. How do you feel about that?
It's very difficult to talk about losing 8 years of your life. I mean, I don't really know how to describe it. It's not as if there's a gap in me. It's as if I went to sleep and woke up, and it was 8 years later. I can tell you that I was devastated when I realized that I had broken under the pressure and that I had fled. And a part of me literally hates myself for not being able to remember all those milestones and those little moments. But I will. I swear to you, I will one day.
You're on a...
Wait a minute.
What?
Let her talk.
What?
Let her talk.
Excuse me.
You have faith that you will regain those memories.
Yes, I do. But I don't want to regain the memories, only to find out that more time in my children's lives has been lost to me because they've been taken away from me. I really feel that I have to tell you that I don't think my husband has any understanding of the fact that I'm suffering. I'm in a great deal of pain over those years that I have lost. And if my judgment has not been totally accurate regarding Clint and the kind of person that he is and the kind of marriage that we once had, then I'm sorry. I apologize for that, Clint, but I can't be forced into feelings that I don't have. I can't be forced into a love that I don't feel. But where my children are concerned, my Kevin and Joey and my Jessica, I don't need memories to know that they're mine. Good God, I bore those children. They came from my womb and they are a part of me. And if I were to lose them, a part of me would literally die.
You feel that you don't need those memories to care for them. You could care for them as much without them.
But of course I could. I know right from wrong. I know what kind of clothes to wear and what kind of weather. I know how to feed them properly. But more important than that, I know how to love them. I know how to hold them when they cry. I know how to make them laugh when we play. I am their mother, and I love them with all my heart, and I am a good mother.
And if you do win custody, do you plan to stay in Landfair?
Yes, of course I do. It's my family's home. It's the children's home. I have no wish to disrupt their lives any more than the divorce will.
Thank you. No more questions at this time.
I'd like to ask a few, Mrs. Buchanan.
Yes, Your Honor.
If you should be granted custody, would you be willing for the children's father to spend time with them?
Your Honor, he's their father. They adore him. I don't want to cut him out of their lives.
And if you should become romantically involved with another man who wanted at some point to move out of Landview, would you be willing to follow him?
No, I would not. As I've said, I do not want to disrupt the children's lives. But I must say to you, Your Honor, I have no intention of remarrying in the near future, so this really isn't relevant.
Thank you. Mr. Cowson.
Thank you. Mrs. Buchanan, you've stated your case quite movingly, but I do have some questions.
Kevin, Joey, what are you doing here?
What's going on? They wanted to be here. You know, they have a right to be here.
We came to see the judge.
I'm Bill Butel. Thank you very much.
This has been an Eyewitness News special weather report. We now return to One Life to Live.
I know it must be very, very difficult for you to be at home waiting and wondering about your future, but believe me, your father and I are really doing everything we can, along with the judge, to do what's right for you.
What's right is staying married and living with all 5 of us. We love you both.
I know you do. And we both love you both.
And why can't you love each other?
Look, fellas, sometimes there's just too many problems, you know, no matter how much love a man and woman feel for each other. But who knows, someday we may whip those problems. The thing is that right now you're just going to have to be little men about this and accept it. Just like sometimes you have to accept going to school on days you don't want to, or going to bed earlier than you want to.
It's not as if you're not going to be seeing a lot of both of us, you know. It's just that life's going to be a little different, that's all. But we both promise you that it's not going to be nearly as bad as you seem to think it is.
Yeah, and you know what? Now you're only going to have to take orders from us one at a time, you know, so that can't be all bad.
Pardon me. I'd like to meet these gentlemen. My name is Oliver Guernsey. What's yours?
I'm Kevin, and this is my brother, Joey.
Oh, hello, Kevin.
Hi.
Joey? Who's this?
Fitzpatrick.
Fitzpatrick. He looks new to me. Is he a Christmas present? Oh, I see. Well, how would you and your brother and Fitzpatrick feel about going into my office and having a little talk?
Well, wait a minute, Your Honor.
Your Honor, please, you agreed you wouldn't do that.
Now, I'm very aware of what I'm doing. And I promise you, I won't ask them to make choices. I just want to get to know them better. The court will be in recess for 10 minutes. Come on, Kevin, Joey, come on inside. Oh, you can call me Ollie. All right.
not really. I think my heart just sank when the children came in.
Yeah. Herb, are you sure this judge will keep his word?
Oh, he's an honorable man. Glad he won't make them choose between the two.
Rick, you might have saved Kevin's life, and for that, we'll always be grateful. But you don't know anybody in this family well enough to make a decision like you did.
And Mary Lynn, really, to go along with something like that. My parents split up when I was a kid. I identify on what your kids are going through. I just felt that they should have a chance to say something.
Has it helped at all?
I wish it would.
I wish it had.
It's all right. Let's sit down. Come on.
Mr. Buchanan, I'm sorry.
Yeah. Herb, can I speak to you?
Well, you heard them both. Who do you think will get custody?
I still don't know.
Neither do I.
Kim, shall we go home and the boys go?
Yes. I really don't want to hear anymore.
Judith, what did you think about my testimony? I mean,
Herb said it himself. It was very moving.
but was it convincing? I mean, did I sound stable enough to take care of 3 children?
Yes, and it was very convincing about you and Tom not being lovers. Those were 2 of the main issues.
All right, here we are, lads. I think it's about time we went back to Mommy and Daddy. Oh, we had a grand chat. Yes, Kevin thinks he might like to grow up to be a judge now, but he doesn't know about the robe. And Joey still dreams of becoming a cowboy.
Can Ollie ride on the ranch someday, Dad?
Sure he can. Now, you fellas about ready to go home?
Yeah, I promise we'll never be back, though, okay?
All right.
Yes, well, the court won't be running too much long today.
Bye, Ollie.
Goodbye, Kevin.
Bye, sweetheart. I love you. I'll see you later, okay?
Bye, Dad.
Bye, Sam.
Darling, I love you. I'll see you later, okay? Be good.
See you, cowboy.
Goodbye, Joey. Oh, and goodbye to Fitzpatrick. All right. Take care. Safe home.
Bye.
Bye. Bye-bye. Well, those are 2 very fine little boys. I'm glad I got a chance to speak to them. I think it will give them a better understanding that this is not totally the end of their world. It's just very close.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you very much.
Your Honor, before you call court back into session, my client wishes a private conference with you. Mrs. Sanders should feel free to attend.
Why, Clint? What do you want to say to her?
Well, let's have that conference.
Judith, please, I don't like this.
Don't worry, I'll protect your interests.
Here we go. Come along. Mr. Sanders, would you sit over there, please? That's right. Now, Mr. Buchanan, what is it?
Well, Your Honor, I'm willing to quit. Just give up the fight and let Vicky have custody.
Well, why is that?
A lot of things.
I mean, you've suddenly decided that she's more qualified than you are.
No, but I am the stronger of the 2 of us, Your Honor, and I can endure living without the kids. I'm not sure that Vicky can.
Mr. Buchanan loves his wife very much, Your Honor. He can't stand hurting her. He feels that too much damage has been inflicted already.
It's very generous of you, Clint.
Well, what about the divorce? Are you still agreeing to a no contest on that?
If she wants a divorce, I really don't have any choice, do I?
Well, if I'd known this at the beginning, I would have agreed to end the hearing. But I can't now.
What do you mean?
No, the proceedings must go on. And then I'd have to make the choice on who takes the children.
On what grounds?
I'd have to protest that, Your Honor.
Can he do that?
Legally, yes, I can. You see, this issue is a very emotional one, and I feel it needs the objectivity that only a third party can bring to it. See, this man comes to court to fight for his children. And then suddenly, he stops. Now, why? Love. Because he can't bear to hurt the woman he loves. But I can't stop the hearing just for that reason. No. The reason for the children's welfare is still the issue.
Clint, I think he's right.
Maybe he is. I'm just punchy at this point, Herb.
Mr. Sanders?
We'll abide by that, Your Honor.
All right. Then let's reconvene.
Herb, you're not going to like this either, but I have one more request.
This hearing is back in session. Mrs. Buchanan, will you step back into the witness box, please?
Excuse me, Your Honor. At my client's request, I will not be cross-examining Mrs. Buchanan after all.
What does that mean?
Is Clint giving up?
Very well. Mr. Buchanan, you may remain seated. Mr. Sanders, do you have any more witnesses you wish to call?
No, Your Honor, I do not.
Mr. Carlson?
No, Your Honor.
Very well. Well, I've listened to the testimony very carefully. I'm glad I had the opportunity of meeting the Buchanan boys, and no mention was made during that conference of preference. But I think it gives me a better understanding of who they are, and that is very important because it is their welfare which I'm deeply concerned about. I shall be spending this evening deliberating on my decision on this case. We will reconvene tomorrow at 9 a.m. This hearing is adjourned until then.
All rise.
Hurry up.